Welcome everyone to the latest episode of Tea with Steve Live. It's the Heart Brand Sessions interview 2 of the 24-hour live streaming session, and I am very excited to bring on to the let's say stage, because she deserves a stage after what she did today. Because Carol Lumbard did all of the picnic for my daughter's birthday, and do you know what? Before she comes on, I didn't tell her I was going to do this. I'm still eating lemon drizzle cake. This stuff is amazing. Whoa, nearly dropped it. Let me bring Carol on. How you doing?
Oh, I'm blushing.
No. So you can go and talk to everyone, and I'm going to eat your cake.
I cut it into a square actually today. So I've been picking at the ends, all around the edge this afternoon. Oh, yeah, because I haven't eaten today other than like scraps of bits that broke off anything that I was making for you. So
this stuff is amazing. Right, so let me tell you. Good. I said I was going to embarrass you ever so slightly, but not so much. There's a story, okay? We've really upset my sister-in-law. Let's just put that out there, because right, Helen is really renowned for her sausage rolls. Okay.
Oh no.
and she brought and she kept and as every time we have a do, no matter where it is, you know, when someone just rocks up and they've got their pot of food. I want to contribute this. She told me last night she was making sausage rolls, and I was like, better not tell you that Carol might be. And then for Ruby's party, and she came today with them. And you know what the killer line was? Her dad, my father-in-law, munching on one of your sausage rolls. Helen, these are better than yours.
Oh no. What an accolade.
Honestly, Helen's renowned for these sausage rolls. So I just wanted to put that out there, that it is, you know, it's common knowledge now that Carol Lumbard does the best sausage roll in Norfolk for picnics.
I love that. What an accolade indeed. That's brilliant.
So
normally it's my cheese scones and
I've got to tell you.
Attention.
Now, Summer's not a cheese scone fan, but she had a cheese scone. She put the chutney on, and she was like, "Dad, these are amazing." So we could just sit here and talk about how good your food is all night.
I made that chutney at 10 o'clock last night.
Crazy stuff. And you know what? The kids thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was a great day. And I am very grateful. So straight away, I had to start by letting the world know that you do the best picnic ever.
Thank you. That's really kind. I'm glad I could help.
Which is going to lead us into Cookies and the new business.
Yep.
And you're in the whole flow of the new era, and you know the everything about new era and purpose, you know, in changing the world through brands and things like that. So I'd love to know how it's impacting you.
So I've gone round a million different circles. So I own a children's cookery school where you eat cake and I'll drink tea as well. And obviously, as soon as lockdown started, I had to close down all of my cookery classes. Right. So normally I'd be doing monthly cookery lessons, school holiday workshops, birthday parties all weekend, every weekend. And then over the summer, I go around all the food festivals. So all of like Tom Kerridge's Pub in the Park events. I'm normally there doing like free workshops for all the children. And my whole world stopped. There was nothing I could kind of run from the business model I had existing. So the conversation was to my partner, can you afford to feed me? And he was locked down in a different county to me. So so it was a massive challenge. And because normally Cookie's Kitchen runs in Kent and in Norfolk. And then sort of Sussex and Surrey and kind of surrounds and everything else. So I've never spent so many nights on my own bed, which has been quite a treat in the last few months. That has been one plus side. And then I went and got myself a job because I needed money and I needed to help my sanity. I knew I couldn't sit indoors on my own for months. I have to be with people. And so the COVID coordination centre of the ambulance station was calling. And there I am still sat because while I still figure everything else out, it's been good for me. It's also been a real boost as the fact that what I do is what I actually love. You know, when you have those moments, don't you, of kind of going, so you could just go and join the real world and get a normal job. No, No, I literally couldn't. It doesn't bring the best out in me at all. So, yeah, I just, yeah. And then you came along during lockdown and just before lockdown and started talking on this whole Unite on Purpose, and all the light bulbs went off. And it kind of took me back to not a New Year's resolution. It wasn't as cheesy as that, but the last few years have been just manic for me, running the business in 2 different counties and just teaching constantly. And I've not stopped and actually taking the business in the direction I wanted to take it in. I bought it secondhand from somebody else.
Okay.
And I've also just not had the time to sit and be genuinely me in the last couple of years. I said at the beginning of this year that was absolutely what was going to happen. Kind of, I was making my comeback and getting back to doing things I was really passionate about. And everyone around me needed to be quite afraid, really. And then, but again, I was just stupidly busy. So now lockdown and Unite on Purpose campaign has all kind of come together, and the whole business plan has completely changed. And I have a new business as well.
Cool. So let's go into that in a minute. But 2 things there I want to pick up on. One, you just skirted over, all right? And I think we need to we need to play like almost homage to it. Is the fact that you identified there was a challenge in the business and the business model wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And you stepped up and became a key worker.
Yeah.
So, you know, you glaze over that, but there aren't many people that would do that and put those, because that's what you're doing. You're there for the other people that need that support. That role was there and needed filling. And you was like, do you know what? I'm going to put my business on hold for a moment. I'm going to pay it back and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this. So high five to you. Massive respect.
Yeah,
Massive
it's been
respect to you.
Been different. Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah. It's been a steep learning curve.
12-hour shifts in the services.
Oh my God.
I can relate to that.
Shifts. I'm really pretty after 4 night shifts. I have the most beautiful personality after 4 night shifts.
Well, Jason says it's amazing, and Jason can relate to it because he used to be a copper like I did. So we can completely respect the 12-hour shift system. Yeah,
it's not easy, is it?
And then the other thing I want to pick up on is you say about changing your business model and this, that, and the other. We met, it's over a year ago. You came on one of my training courses.
Yeah.
And I've seen your progression over the 12 years. And I want to say, I want to, what's the word I'm looking for? It's getting late, so I'm getting my worms wrong. It's almost like pay respect to that journey that I've seen you go on, because you've come into the community and you've jumped on video, you've broken down boundaries with regards to your presence online, and and I can see the energy you can see over the last 12 months the energy has completely changed in you. You look so vibrant right now, and I'm like,
thank you.
Yes, we're in the right. And you get that feeling, where you're going.
When something that you and Nat mentioned a lot is finding the who's to your house, and that's what T with C and Nat's group with the Lionesses exactly is. When you just find your right tribe, and I just align with everything that you guys do, and without being like cheesy and everything else, but it just works for me. And I've looked into other places, and everything you guys talk about just fits who I am. I just love it. I absolutely love it.
You have to go with what works for you.
Yeah,
I think as long as the people who are delivering are like James said earlier, being completely unapologetic to themselves, being a bit vulnerable, being completely honest. I am me online as I am offline, because I don't know how to be anything else. It's a real struggle. No. And in all honesty, for years, I was trying to be somebody or trying to find who I was when I was actually, do you know what? Quite like me.
Yeah, good.
And when you get to that moment, I think, okay, yeah, I'll take me. That's cool.
That's really cool.
And that's, that's why we've decided, I was going to launch the Heart Brand Academy back in February, but we kept holding off because we want to make sure in this challenging time that we got the content to go in there right, that the program was right, and to see what the need was from people like yourself who have been on our training courses and stuff over those years. I was like, it wasn't the right time, right fit. So it's been a good journey for me to see the journey of other people, to see. Yeah. So it's just like you've got, purpose, who's to house, the epiphany moments, all of the Bob stuff. It's like, okay. And I think if you can just, like you've been able to do, is just say, okay, I'm just going to take you said it today perfectly on the field. It was like, just going to take my foot off the pedal a little bit.
Yeah.
And then and allow everything else to catch up and just come past you so you can see it. Instead of looking through your rear view mirror, you allow it to catch up, go like that, and go, because it looks different when it's in front of you than when it's behind you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've stopped looking at I caught myself doing it a little bit a couple of weeks ago, and stopped myself again of looking at what other people are doing in the same industry as me. And I know that what I'm now striving for is something really unique. I think, I don't know what anyone else is up to behind the scenes, but I feel really comfortable. I'm now going to start putting out products that are what I really want to put them out as, and with a completely different message behind them. So, and that feels really nice, because you do just get trapped in that game. I haven't really had any competitors down in Kent, and somebody opened up and started running out the same village hall as me, and all of that was just these pressures kind of coming on me just before lockdown. Stopped. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else. I'm just getting on with my stuff now. So yeah, as much as it's been a really difficult time, it's been really cool as well.
So let's deep dive into that then. Come on, who's Carol? Come on, who's Carol? And you're comfortable being you. Tell me, let's help everyone else who's watching.
So Carol's quite opinionated and quite a force when I'm in full flow. So I was the girl that at 11 years old walked into my middle school system as we had then, and told them that I'd written a play for Greenpeace and that we were going to put this play on at school. And the school went with it. And I did this whole play and got everyone involved in my session then, that we were going to stop littering the world, and that I was going to save the planet with Greenpeace. I was the girl that walked down the street and went up to people who smoked at 13 years old and asked them why they would do that and why they were so ridiculous. And then was in the EDP, the local newspaper, a photo of me holding up an anti-smoking campaign.
Wow.
Yeah, and then just I've been through every kind of career shift and everything else, trying to find the right fit after an unsuccessful career in the Air Force. So I'm the person that's climbing Kilimanjaro one day and laying on the sofa watching Made in Chelsea and absolute trash on the other day. So I
love a bit of reality TV.
I love reality TV.
Yeah. Big Brother's my thing. Big Brother was my thing.
Yes.
I applied once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Now that was good to watch.
It was the first year that Ruby was born. And I was having some sort of like mental trauma of being like a middle-aged dad again. And I was like, I'm going to apply for Big Brother. I did a whole video and everything. But I think it wasn't the fact that I didn't get selected. I think it's the fact that I submitted it a bit too late. I think I would be amazing in Big Brother. It'd be hilarious. They would
imagine if you did that video now, knowing what you know, your years down the line.
Catherine would never let me go in Big Brother. She would cause. I'll have to set my own up.
Yes,
definitely. But anyway,
Big Daddy. So yeah.
Enough about me. Come on.
So I then found my absolute love, passion, and obsession as a career as a water babies teacher. Teaching swimming to newborn babies up to sort of school age. We're teaching the parents to teach their babies to swim. And I loved it, and it was just my thing. And I had 13 very, very happy years. I still jump in the pool occasionally for them, but then my ears and throat gave up on me. So I had to have a career change. And I'd kind of met somebody through swimming teaching. There's no one much in Norfolk with children I don't know. And somebody had got a cookery school, and she asked me to go and work for her. So I kind of started doing that. And then I wanted to go back down to my roots, down to Kent. And I was looking at maybe buying a franchise down there. And I started researching the competition and found Cookie's Kitchen doing exactly what I wanted to do in the exact area I wanted to do it. So I messaged them about a job, and the night before I'd messaged her, she'd written a letter ready to send out to all the clients telling them she was closing the business down for health reasons.
Wow.
So let's meet up, and do I want to take over the business? So I promptly moved to Kent and took over the business. And she was so sick of backseat, but it wasn't as backseat as, So a year later I bought her out and took her, so I now own the business. And then my partner had this great idea about us both coming to Norfolk
Yeah.
But he's still not here. So he's going to do just one more
Okay.
season. And yeah. So hence we've ended up in this crazy little whirlwind that we live in between the counties. And yeah, so I've now turned it from this children getting together once a month and baking cakes into now teaching children to properly cook and moving
Fantastic.
it towards my purpose.
Well slid in there, because that's where I'm going next. So it's like you've been, we've not even had a conversation about this. I was like, come on, we're going to go with it. So then, purpose, because you know I'm all about purpose.
Yeah.
What's your heart brand? Come on.
So I've been working on this in the last kind of few weeks, and it's still kind of forming the words and getting it really built and polished as yours. But I am known for creating happier food relationships for children.
Love it.
We're getting
Love
there.
it. But how do you do that? Is that because you ply their parents with cake?
Yes. Just leave the parents eating cake, and I'll go and teach the children something useful in the background. So yeah.
Come on, this time. Where did it come from?
So partly my opinionatedness and my belief that I'm a little bit black and white with things. So I have my own weight battles and everything myself. But I don't understand what you would teach your children. Jason's on it. So yeah. I think if we can get children back in the kitchen, if we can teach children to cook and get them engaging with what goes into their food and learning what ingredients are, hopefully we can encourage them to want to make healthier food choices.
Okay.
So I front up a campaign that I've run with another lady called Visible Vegetables. It's all about not hiding vegetables from children, and it's okay not to like something. And you don't then make that a forbidden thing and never introduce it to them again. But just letting them know what's in their food and letting them not like something and try something and finding their own ways on their food journey. When the children leave my classes with some food they've made, it's like coming home from school with a piece of artwork. They're so proud of what they've made that they want to eat it and they want you to eat it. And then it brings the family back around the dinner table, which is something else that I'm really passionate about. So my parents were very, very busy people. They were self-employed as I was growing up. And the only thing we did have was a family meal every single day.
Okay.
And I always talk about being very bullied at high school. And it wasn't that my parents could make the bullies go away. And it's not that we had deep and meaningfuls every night around the dinner table, but we connected, we just touched base. And at least I was then talking about the school and what was going on, rather than shutting myself straight from my bedroom. And I just think that's a massive help. So it's kind of two things kind of coming together. But yeah, the whole connection with food, what you put in is what you get out, fueling children well for the day, and then connecting families back round the dinner table for focus on children's mental health.
I love what you say there, and obviously you've just pricked my ear with something else that you just finished on. Just dropping these. It's like you've been honestly. We'll talk. We will talk the mental health conversation in a minute. But what I do like, and I have been nagging for it here, because since lockdown we've lost it. And I suppose it's because since lockdown we've lost what I'm about to say, because I've been literally working even more and more and more to produce things, to pivot the business. So many businesses are going online and want our support. The community needs our support. And we do miss the dining table. Yeah. However, we have to walk past it 100 times a day. And it does become a really handy shelf. Yeah. Because at the moment it's covered in post. Not covered, that's unfair. But it's like, and we end up, because there's usually going to be 2 different meal times in my house, because I will sometimes eat separately from everyone else. So they don't get the tables set. They don't. It's literally, we'll have dinner on our lap on the sofa. And the times with lockdown have been thrown out, so we're eating later instead of eating around between 5 and 6 is what we normally do. But I think you're right. I mean, I remember when I was a kid and we didn't have a table. We had a breakfast bar. It was like a big L-shaped bar. It was quite cool in the 80s, apparently, according to my mum. And I just think it was because they didn't want to speak to me at the table, because it went like this and then like this, and I just looked at the wall and ate my dinner.
Oh no!
But I could have a conversation with everyone, and we spent time together at meal times. Mum said we were all there. But it's not like that now. And in my house, in lockdown, it's not been, you know. Right. And I think it's very important. And I whinged like an old lady about it. Like, we should be having lunch. And so, I'm grateful when Summer's here, because I'm setting the dining table and we're having Sunday lunch and it's 40 degrees outside and we're cooking lamb, you know, because I'm like,
because it's Sunday.
Yes, it's Sunday and we're having roast lamb, and Summer's here and the family are here. And I don't care how hot it is outside. Put some fans on, open windows. We're having Sunday roast. And because I like us around the table, because when we're around the table, the banter between Summer and Ruby, and I'll let you into a story. We were eating at a table the other day and we're chatting away and this, that, and the other. And literally Ruby came out with a perler, and she literally just spat. I just laughed so hard I spat my food everywhere. It was embarrassing, but it was funny because I remember going on a train with Summer once. I brought my car over to Norwich. I got it, get it serviced. I had an Alfa Romeo at the time, so only the Alfa Romeo garage in Norwich could do it. We came back on the train, left the car there, and we got off at the wrong stop. And Summer was all upset, and we were in Summer. I thought, because it said we're now approaching Alton Broad, and it wasn't. We were at Summer Leighton, so I said, "Oh, this is our stop," because I was half asleep on the train with her in my arms. We jumped off, and I'm down some village road or whatever. It's about half a mile up to get light, and we got off at the wrong stop. So Summer was there, and this, that, and the other. And then Kat said, "So when was that?" And I said, "Well, it's when mine and Summer's mum separated." And Ruby just turned around with a pearl and went, "Dad, you abandoned her." And I went, well, I was eating, I was going everywhere. And I'm like, do you know what? It was hilarious what she said and how she said it in context. That wasn't the case, but it would never have happened if we weren't together in that moment at the dinner table.
No phones, no technology, no nothing, just chat. And
I ban technology at the dinner table.
Yeah.
You know, even though I live it.
You need to step away from it. And as teenagers, we might have got that we were like sitting down, grabbing our food and legging out the door to whatever we were doing, but it was still there, that chance to just kind of check in. And I attribute a lot to that. And also I think good business is done over food. And my partner, his son, we've gone to war over over dinner a lot, because at home he just doesn't have to eat at the table. And we had big problems. And I was like, I just want to sit and just hang out with you for 10 minutes in the day. And oh my gosh, we went, and I was like, and my partner was like, can we just drop it? And I went, I can drop elements of what I've struggled with it, but actually no, I just want us to stop and eat. And you know what? You never know when that boy's going to need to learn to do business around a table and schmooze. And it's good skills. They're good life skills.
Of course it is.
Being able to converse.
That's what Tea with Steve's about. That is exactly what it's about. And it's literally, it's like you were watching the previous show. I was saying to James, I was saying, for me, you know, the intimacy of sitting with somebody and having a cup of tea and having a conversation and, you know, and building that rapport and that relationship. If you can do that and feel comfortable in people's company, then actually there's a really good chance you could do some really good business together. Yeah. It's the same with food. You know, it's even more so, I suppose, if you can sit there and spend a couple of hours having a meal with people and get to know people and have conversation. And it's really interesting, because I think my generation are the best generation to be online. And I go on and I lean into that through the conversation piece, because Summer is hilarious. Okay. We can have a conversation. We can have some real good fun with it. And then, but that's because she's comfortable with me. But she's talking to when she's talking to her friends, she's like this. And I get that that's where it's happening. But if I say, so tell me what you done at school then. Can't remember. Okay. So what do you have for dinner today? Well, I can't remember. And and it's not like I want to know what food you ate and what, you know, what your latest boyfriend said and this, that, and the other. I just want to have a conversation. It's not until she's in flow. And I think right now, the people of of my generation, my age, I'm in my 40s. I think we are prime because we know how to have that conversation over the fence.
Yeah.
That our parents used to have.
Definitely,
we know how to
definitely.
have conversations at the dinner table. We know how to sit and have a drink with one another and have a chat and relax. But kids struggle because they've got something between them. And I love tech. I love tech.
Yeah,
but
of course.
That conversation piece is really important. I love the fact that you're talking about doing it over food.
And I just think it's an all-rounder, so much for children to gain from engaging with food and learning to cook, and just say knowing what food is, knowing where it comes from, appreciating the value, and just knowing what's in stuff. And gosh, if I could just teach the whole world to make the most simple tomato sauce and never buy a jar of dolmio again, if you look at something and can't pronounce what's on the back of it, then really, if it can stay on a shelf that long, then
See, I love it. See, I'm quite blessed because Catherine does a lot of cooking from scratch, and she was taught by her mum. And Ruby and Catherine teaches Ruby. It's really funny tonight, or actually this afternoon, because we're bringing some of the picnic food home, and we got this bloody great big cake that was delivered, and this and the other, and they're trying to pack the fridge, and Catherine goes, "Oh my God!" And she pulled this tray out, and it had dough on from the other night. And it was a baking tray. And Ruby said, "No, don't throw my dough away." And because Catherine made a quiche and Ruby wanted to cook with her mum. So she had this dough and they put it in the fridge. And Catherine trying to lever it off the baking tray with a knife just so we can make some space in the fridge to put some beautiful cake. Just another knob.
To the lemon drizzle. Oh. Yeah. So I then need to connect as well. So I'm a bad Tropic ambassador. Because I love their stuff and I just don't get round to actually bothering to promote it to the rest of the world. But I really love the whole ethics behind, obviously, the whole business. What they do is phenomenal, which is why I kind of joined. But for every £50 that's spent with Tropic, it pays for a child to go to school. They've now got their own school out in Cambodia. And that's what I want to take Cookie's Kitchen to. So I years ago did some voluntary work out in Kenya. And I'd like to get this whole connection through Cookie's Kitchen and into a foundation out in Africa and providing breakfast to school children in Africa. I know it's quite a generalisation, but perhaps Kenya or something like that. So that's the ultimate goal as well, is to
I love it.
Cookie's Kitchen Foundation.
I love it. And I think, with the Unite on Purpose campaign that's started, Lindsay is offering bursary places onto the Brand DNA program. So, and they lead everything with a foundation level. So they have the L&D Foundation, and they literally, through people coming in, they donate their IP, so their training program, they donate it to third world countries to teach young entrepreneurship.
Oh, amazing! Yeah,
it's really good. I mean.
Maybe I haven't got to that page in the book quite yet.
Where's mine? It's over there. You know what?
I'm literally showing some crazy stalker. This stuff's amazing.
Right. Between you and me, the rest of the internet won't know. She's right in a second.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. It's all about the content that she's delivering through the L&D and through the Brand DNA. She's bringing all of that in, and the content that she's speaking on video and that is coming out now. But don't tell anyone else because no one else knows, all right? It's just you and me.
You know what's really funny is it says on there, I'm really precious about books. I like them to say looking really beautiful. One of the first pages says something about, I don't want this book in pristine condition. It's not to sit on the coffee table. I want it thumbed. I want post-its. And I was like, oh. So I thought, well, I'll just read it from cover to cover, and then I'll start again and start with the post-its. Yeah, I got to page 10, and the notebooks were out, and everything else.
Right there. Mine's the same.
Oh, she'd be proud of yours. Yeah.
I've got notes in it and everything. It's really funny how I met Lindsay. Lindsay was a coach on a business program that I was on, and I walked, and I was desperate for her day. It was a whole day with her, and there was 60, 70 entrepreneurs in this room. We paid a lot of money for this program, and a few months before, I was talking to one of the other guys, and I get book. If you and you really want to get Lindsay's book, she's going to be teaching you in a few months' time. Got the book, connected with her online. I walked into that room that morning, and they'd moved the venue. It was in London, and they'd moved it from the Bloomsbury Hotel to a posh Holiday Inn in some. I don't even know if posh. I don't even know if Holiday Inns are posh, but I'm sure they had one. It looked posh at the time.
Yeah.
So we went into this, and I was late. I just got there about 5 minutes. She just started, and my group of guys who I sat with, we had an accountability group. They're right at the front, and I'm like, oh. So I try and get in without being seen. And then I just get to the front, and she just turns in mid-flow, and she went, and if you want anyone to run your social media, that's your man. And I was like, oh my God. I felt really honored because we've been conversing through social, and then, literally the end of that day, I brought on 7 new clients out of that room, and it completely transformed the business. So amazing. And they were, it weren't big clients. It was clients that we worked with, on our standard program, but that literally doubled our income.
Wow.
From that one thing. And I said to Lindsay, I want to run your social. At some point, I want to, where we've got someone at the moment, this, that, and the other, but keep in touch. And we kept in touch. And then it was last year. And it's really funny when you mentioned about taking your foot off the pedal and this, that, and the other, because last year I was, it's actually now, last summer, I was coming to the end of all my contracts with my clients. And I made the conscious decision 3 months earlier that I was not going to renew any of them. So actually, come August, 0 income into the business. But we had income that we set there to see me through for this idea that I had about being a purpose-led entrepreneur. I'm not working with anybody else unless they are purpose-led. If they haven't got
remember that phase. I do remember that last summer.
If they don't have a purpose, I'm not working with them. If they want to, if they are interested in purpose, we will work with them. And then 1 week later, Lindsay put a post on her Instagram saying we're hiring. I sent her a message and say, can we have a conversation? Can I help? And she said, are you free to come down to a meeting? We've got an alumni event on this day. I went, yep, no problem. I walked down. So I went down to London. I literally got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, traveled to London for a 9 a.m. meeting with her, met a few other people, all great people that are now on the L&D program with me. And we had a conversation, and she said, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. We've been destined to do this for a long time. She said to me, what's the investment? I went, it's this. She went, fine, let's do it. Following week, we're running I've been running her personal brand since September.
Amazing. Because I was connected so well with you and Nat. And then I started seeing the stuff on Lindsay. The first time you mentioned her, I went over and checked her out on social media. And it was just then like an extension of everything I was already enjoying with you and Nat. Yeah. And then it just all follows and flows together. And of course, if you're then connecting with people that are following her, you're connecting with fellow like-minded people because they're all singing the same hymn sheet, and it just feels amazing. Really, really lovely. It's
all driven from you go into your brand DNA, you identify what that is, then you go upper layer, and then they talk, and then when they start having the spirituality and business conversations, which I'm all about. That some people, it's like, oh, what's that? And then when Darren came on Tuesday and was talking about talking about healing, and he was like, oh, it's another level.
He's on Tuesday. My jaw was literally on the floor watching it. It was didn't see it coming. Oh, it was amazing. Tuesday was particularly brilliant. I've watched as many of them in the last 19 weeks as I can, permitting. It's been really good.
So, where are we going to take your purpose? What's the plan? What are the next steps? What can someone watching this right now, what can they take from this that you have done and you've implemented that they can have success with? Just one thing. While I eat more cake of Carol's, that is delicious.
Yeah. To just let yourself stop and think. And don't be afraid of other people around you. That's the biggest thing I've done in the last few months. And it is really hard to stop, and obviously this has been the opportunity for me, but just really look inside as to what you want to be, and go and make it happen, and don't wait for tomorrow. Just don't wait for tomorrow.
I love it.
Just get on it. Just go and live for the now.
Carol, it's been absolutely epic to have you on. Thank you for being a live guest. No, it's been a pleasure. Do you know what? There's a few slices in the tin, and I've hidden the tin.
I think you have my entire collection of cake tins.
Yeah, we do. To be fair, we do. We do.
They were coming out of every cupboard I can find this morning because the boxes I ordered haven't turned up. I never let those jewels cake tins out the house. You're very privileged.
Right. I wish you every success.
Yes,
keep
thank
doing
you.
what you're
Good
doing.
night.
Please keep us updated in what's going on.
Thank you.
Just literally lean into that purpose. Even when you think, oh, just dive in. Just dive in.
Yeah.
You know, allow the things to catch up with you and pass you so you can see them in a different perspective.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'll keep making picnics, and then I can step away from the ambulance and get back into fully self-employed life again.
I love it. Thank you
right,
ever so much.
Enjoy the rest of tonight.
I will. You take care now. Speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Wow. Now that for me was just really enjoyable. I got to eat cake with one of my favorite people, and I've experienced Carol's journey now over the last 12, 18 months, and it's been a journey. And why can't you have that too? Why can't you take some of the learnings from the interview tonight and just implement some of those things in your business? You know, take your foot off the pedal. Just let things catch you up, pass you by a little bit so you can see them from a different perspective. There is so much that you can do right now, and then maybe embrace this lockdown time. Yes, people are going back to work, people have taken on jobs and this, that, and the other, but it's a time we're allowed. Someone in that universe out there has given us that moment just to slow down and just take stock of a few things, reflect. I will certainly be doing that this time tomorrow night. I have a plan after the 24 hours of live streaming to sit there and have a few Guinnesses and just spend some time in the garden and just reflect on what's going on and see then what we can do with all the valuable information that we're bringing to you from other people and how we can make that something more. So come and join me in, where are we now? In literally 20 minutes. Samantha Hearn is going to join me. And this lady, she grows epic women to build and scale their businesses. So come and join us on that. And I will see you literally in 20 minutes, 10 o'clock.